Expressed my love to my childhood friend Mariah. She told me to go humiliate the poor top student Willow. She said, as long as you can make her finish the leftovers from your plate, I'll agree to be with you. It was at that moment I realized I'd really been reborn 15 years back. I ran to Willow thrilled, and in front of all our classmates, I slapped 5,000 yuan into her hand. I said, Miss Liu, with your looks, working so hard doing part-time jobs to support yourself is too harsh. How about becoming my private tutor instead? This girl, who would become a ruthless queen of the business world in the future, was now so poor she could barely eat or stay warm, like a helpless lamb ready for slaughter. But her being broke wasn't a problem now, because now I'm so poor that money is all I have left. Chapter 1. George, make her eat your leftovers and I'll let you be my boyfriend. I snapped out of it to see Mariah raising an eyebrow, her tone mocking. The trust fund kids surrounding us chimed in with laughter and coaxing. Go on, George, you've been chasing Mariah for so long. This is the first time she's even considered it. Someone else added, I've had enough of that so-called good girl Willow. So what if she's pretty and gets good grades? Big deal. Another agreed, exactly. No matter how pretty or smart she is, one day she's still going to work for people like us. Their ridicule was suffocating, like a rock lodged in my chest. Mariah Lynn and I lived in the same fancy neighborhood. She was my childhood friend. Those other rich kids, I'd known them since we were little. It was totally normal for us to hang out. They always thought they were better than others because their families had power and influence. Bullying classmates, that was just routine for them. I never joined in, but I never stopped them either. Offending them could hurt my family's business, and I figured as long as I kept to myself, I'd be fine. In my past life, after I confessed to Mariah, she made me offer my leftovers to Willow as a test and promised to date me if she accepted. I knew it was wrong, but I was young and blinded by love, so I did it. To ease my guilt, I gave Willow 10,000 yuan. She took the money and ate the food. After that, she'd avoid me like the plague, always walking away with her head down. I didn't care. I only had eyes for Mariah. But after college, everything fell apart. My dad's company went bankrupt. He jumped off a building. My mom was diagnosed with cancer. Mariah cheated on me, got pregnant by some random guy, and forced me into a divorce, kicking me out. With no degree and no real skills, I begged my old buddy Makoto to help me out. He landed me a job at a hotel where I worked as a doorman, living off tips from parking cars and carrying luggage. Mariah found out where I worked. She loved bringing her new boyfriends and friends to mock me. George, don't say I'm a heartless ex-wife, she'd say. My man here wants to hear you bark like a dog. Do that, and I'll give you 2 grand. Every time she got a new boyfriend, she repeated the same humiliation. Makoto wasn't much better. He'd bring our old gang over just to use me as their joke. George, kneel down and polish my shoes and I'll give you 100. I'm drunk and about to throw up. George, get on your knees and catch it with your hands. I'll give you 101. I used to wonder how people $100 a day. But now, even being insulted like this, I had to force a smile and say, thank you, young masters and misses, for your generosity. Dignity? What's dignity worth compared to money? One time, they dared me to kiss a 60-year-old sugar mama in front of everyone. Just then, Willow appeared. She took me away. She was dressed to perfection, radiating elegance. I didn't even dare to lift my head in front of her. All I could do was stare at her diamond-studded heels and the spotless floor reflecting my ashamed, trembling self. I was terrified she'd seek revenge, but she didn't. Instead, she paid for my mom's medical bills, comforted me,
told me to stay strong, that everything would be okay. But how could it be okay? The same day she helped with the hospital bills, my mom, afraid of being a burden, jumped off a building too. I had already lost my dad. Now I lost my mom. Willow kept me by her side, saying from now on she was my family. I told her I wanted to rebuild my dad's company. She didn't hesitate. She gave me money and support. Whenever I hit a wall, she was always there. She was brilliant, kind, and always looking out for me. How could I not fall for her? But the moment I showed any sign, Willow would hint, "I don't plan to get married in this life." I couldn't even describe how that made me feel. Embarrassed, heartbroken, maybe even ashamed. Compared to her, I wasn't worthy. She worked herself to the bone. Her company had just gone public when she collapsed, late-stage liver cancer. She said she hated the smell of disinfectant and didn't want to stay in a hospital. She moved into a villa by the river. I wanted to stay with her, but she pushed me away with cruel words. Yet after I left, she cried even harder than I did. I begged her, "Willow, don't push me away." I went to see her. By then she was skin and bones, too weak to get out of bed. But the moment she saw me, she covered my eyes. "Don't look, I look awful." Her voice trembled, pleading. In the end, I still didn't get to be there when she passed, didn't even get to say goodbye. Her lawyer told me she left everything to me. But I didn't want the money. I just wanted her to live. I climbed 3,000 steps to a mountain temple, kneeling each step, praying for her to be happy in her next life. I never expected that after my prayer, I'd be hit by a car on my way down. And when I opened my eyes, I was back in my final year of high school. Chapter 2. Looking at Willow, still healthy and full of life, my eyes stung and my nose burned. I held myself back with all my strength, just barely stopping myself from hugging her. I walked over to her desk carrying my leftovers, forcing down the excitement in my heart to talk to her. I said, "Willow, how much do you earn handing out flyers every day? Why don't you sell all your flyers to me? I'll use them as scratch paper. I'll pay you 5,000. In my past life, the reason she got liver cancer was because she worked herself to exhaustion and barely got any rest. Now that I was here, I wouldn't let that happen again. Willow looked up, her delicate features filled with cold indifference. She said, "What kind of scratch paper costs 5,000? I only make 500 in a month handing out flyers. George, don't mess with me." I replied, "I'm serious, no joke." I'd heard she kept her flyers in her desk and only handed them out after school, so I thought, why not just pull them out and pay her on the spot? But by the time Willow realized what I was doing, it was too late. I opened her desk and pulled out a lunchbox. Inside was half a plain steamed bun. She never ate in the cafeteria at noon. I had no idea this was all she ate. I froze. My chest felt tight, heavy with sour sadness. The class burst into laughter. Willow snatched the lunchbox from my hands with trembling fingers, shoved it back into her desk, her face pale as paper. I said, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to." "Willow, how about this? You tutor me, okay? I'll pay you 1,000 per hour." She was proud. She'd never accept money outright. I just wanted an excuse to give her more money, raise her quality of life so she didn't have to struggle so hard. But Willow looked at me with restrained anger and said, "I may be poor, but I earn every bite and stitch myself. I never stole or begged. George, I'm not some plaything for you rich people." She stood up and walked away. I didn't understand why she was so angry. Instinctively, I tried to follow. But Maria stepped in and blocked me, laughing so hard she had tears in her eyes. "George, you're really something. You, the bottom of the class, asking someone to tutor you? That's hilarious." She wasn't wrong. I was literally dead last in school. Asking for tutoring like that probably looked like I was messing with her. No wonder Willow got so upset. I felt a wave of regret. Maria's bestie, Sophia, and even Makoto were all slapping their desks, laughing like hyenas. Makoto said, "Did you see that hillbilly's face just now? I almost died laughing. That kind of backwoods girl? The only way she'll ever be worth anything is if she ends up selling herself later on." Looking at their nasty, snide expressions, I felt a surge of rage. I grabbed my lunchbox and flung the leftovers right at their faces. Then I slammed the box straight onto Maria's head. I shouted, "With mouths that filthy, what did you guys eat this morning? Toilet food?" Maria's face turned green. "George, what the hell is wrong with you?" I snapped back. "I'm sick of watching you guys bully people. Cowards who only pick on the weak. You make me sick." Their faces went dark with rage. They were so furious they couldn't even get words out. I didn't care. I ran out to find Willow. I wanted to explain I really didn't mean any harm. But by the time I found her, class had already started. Her seat was in the second row. Mine was in the very back. Not even a whisper would make it. I was so anxious I was practically pulling my hair out. I tried passing her a note, but our chemistry teacher caught me. He barked, "George and Willow, if you're not going to focus, then go stand outside." Willow was a model student. This was probably the first time she'd ever been scolded, let alone punished. The classroom erupted into murmurs and giggles. I saw how Willow lowered her eyes, her expression full of sadness, and I felt a stab of guilt. I said softly, "Willow, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get you in trouble. I just wanted to tell you I'm serious about asking you to tutor me. Would you be willing?" She replied, "If you're really serious about tutoring, hiring a top-tier teacher wouldn't be a problem for you. Why come to a broke student like me?" Willow shuffled to the side, putting more space between us, clearly thinking I was just playing with her again. Chapter 3. I realized just talking wasn't going to help. The more I said, the colder Willow's expression became. But I couldn't blame her. I'd never personally bullied her, true. But Maria and the others used to humiliate her constantly, without limits, and I never once stepped in. In her eyes, I was no different from them. No.
You can't rush boiling dumplings. You've got to take it slow. So I asked my dad to speak with the school, and we arranged for Willow to receive financial aid. She wouldn't have to hand out flyers anymore just to afford her tuition and living expenses. She used to skip lunch to save time, just gnawed on some plain bread in the classroom. I thought it wasn't nutritious enough, so I asked the housekeeper to start delivering an extra meal every day. Willow didn't want to owe me a favor, so she refused to eat it. I couldn't force her, so I let it go. Now that I had a second chance at life, I didn't just want to save her, I also wanted to become someone worthy. Only then could I rebuild my dad's company and protect my parents. I started pestering Willow for help with the problems I couldn't solve, thick-skinned and shameless. At first, she ignored me with a frosty face. Eventually, when she got too annoyed, she tossed her notes at me and told me to study on my own. And I did, seriously. When Willow saw that I wasn't trying to mess with her, her attitude softened quite a bit. One day, when she was being harassed by some thugs outside school, I stepped in without hesitation, thinking I could play the hero. Instead, I got beaten up right alongside her. But after that, our relationship finally began to thaw. After the next monthly exam, my grades improved a lot, and I was so happy I invited Willow out for a meal. The cola chicken wings were delicious. In my last life, I was used to feeding her by hand, so without thinking, I picked up a wing and held it to her lips. The very next second, someone teased, "Ooh, feeding her? That's so sweet. I'm getting cavities." "George, are you into Willow or what?" Another chimed in. "For real? Even the couples in our class aren't as lovey-dovey as you two." Right at that moment, Maria walked in with Sophia and Makoto. She saw us and her face instantly darkened. She turned on her heel and stormed off. She said, "Wow, George, impressive. Don't ever bother coming to find me again." I didn't chase after her like I used to. I just smiled and said, "Willow's pretty and smart. Isn't it natural for me to like her?" Willow clenched her chopsticks, murmuring, "George, that's not a funny joke." I replied, "That's because I'm not joking. Willow, when anyone else tries to tutor me, I can't even concentrate, but with you I can. Help me study, please. I want to do well on the college entrance exam. Even if I can't get into the same school, at least let me be in the same city as you." That was practically a confession. Makoto, who was always happy to stir the pot, whistled and slapped the table. Willow's face turned beet red. She stammered, "I'll think about it," then got up and ran away like her life depended on it. I knew I was beyond saving, because even the way she fled looked adorable to me. Back at school, Willow's face was still flushed. She barely dared to meet my eyes. I didn't want to pressure her. I just reminded her gently to eat her lunch. Our first class that afternoon was PE, a rare volleyball session since the coach wasn't sick for once. I went to the equipment room to grab the volleyballs. Just as I walked in, Maria followed me inside. She said, "George, wow, you've really got a spine. Said you'd stop chasing me and you really meant it. Now you're stuck to that hillbilly like some lovesick puppy. Don't tell me you actually like her." I smiled. "She's smart, driven, and kind. Isn't it normal to like someone like that?" Maria scoffed. "Don't give me that. You've been into me for years. There's no way you'd suddenly fall for—"
Get it. You're just jealous I'm getting close to someone else, so you're using that bumpkin to make me mad. It's me you've always liked, right? Her words made my stomach churn. I was about to snap at her when I saw Willow standing at the door, her face expressionless, eyes icy cold. In that moment, panic flooded my chest like a tidal wave. In both of my lives combined, I had never seen Willow look at me like that. My right eyelid wouldn't stop twitching. Something felt terribly wrong. I shoved Maria aside and forced a smile, trying to explain things to Willow, but she only said, "Sorry for interrupting," then turned and walked away. Maria scoffed. At least she knows her place. Now that she's gone, we can talk properly. And just like that, she stood on tiptoe and tried to kiss me. I was furious. Smack! I slapped her so hard I wanted to kill this vile woman. I'd worked so hard to mend things with Willow, and she just ruined everything in one shot. Maria's face twisted in anger. "George, playing hard to get too much is not attractive." Looking at her smug face, I honestly wondered how blind I must have been in my past life to fall for her. I snapped, "Stop flattering yourself. Even eating shit didn't make me as disgusted as being kissed by you. Get lost." I had no time to waste on her. I went to find Willow, but she was clearly avoiding me. During team activities, she stood as far away from me as possible. She'd rather be left out and isolated, just like always, than be on the same team as me. After class, she slipped into the girls' bathroom. No way I could follow her there. It wasn't until after school, under the curious gazes of a crowd of classmates, that I finally managed to corner her. She didn't run this time, just looked at me calmly. She said, "Wang, you come from a privileged background. Good grades aren't your only path in life. But I'm not like you. My family's poor. The college entrance exam is the only chance I've got. So could you please leave me out of your little rich kid romance games?" I quickly explained, "Don't listen to anything Maria says. I've long stopped liking her. The reason I help you get close to you is because I like you." She replied flatly, "I don't date in high school." I said, "Then after graduation?" She cut in, "We'll talk about graduation after we graduate. Do you need anything else, Wang?" Her voice stayed calm the whole time, but her attitude was colder than ever. Just then, Sophia and Makoto passed by, their tone full of mockery. "Don't get cocky. You should be grateful George is even using you to piss off Maria. Yeah, he hangs out with you a few days, and suddenly you think you matter. Whatever pocket change he throws at you could feed your whole family for a year."
Their words were cruel beyond belief. It made my skin crawl. I snapped, "Who the hell do you think you are, insulting Willow like that? Apologize now." Makoto's face turned green. "You want me to apologize to some broke waitress?" I looked at him and Sophia with dead eyes. I said, "Apologize. Don't make me say it a third time." They didn't dare talk back. Even if they hated it, they had no choice but to mutter out apologies and leave with their tails between their legs. Willow looked at me and said, "Thanks for standing up for me, but you don't have to. When you do that, they'll just target me worse behind the scenes." Her tone never changed.
In my last life, I only knew she had a hard time, but I never really paid attention. I had no idea it was this bad. She said, "Thanks, but it's not necessary." Willow thanked me, then walked away. I watched her back and felt the distance between us growing wider and wider. My chest ached with a dull, painful swell. It was hard to breathe. I didn't try to approach her again. But the next time Maria, Sophia, and Makoto ganged up on her, I lifted a chair and smashed it over their heads and crushed their arrogance along with it. Afterward, my parents gave me a brutal scolding and cut off my allowance. Lots of people started saying I'd lost my mind. I didn't care. At least now, no one dared bully Willow again. In this second life, I would protect her. Because of that incident, Willow came to find me. She looked conflicted. "You didn't have to go that far for me," she said. I replied, "What, I'm supposed to just stand by while someone bullies the girl I like?" The directness caught her completely off guard. Her face flushed bright red. She quickly changed the subject. "I heard you've been studying with a retired top-level teacher. You even stay up reviewing past midnight. I'm sorry, I misunderstood you before." I grinned. "If you really feel bad, then whenever I run into stuff I don't get in class, you're in charge of explaining it to me." Willow froze for a moment, then bit her lip and said, "Okay." Sure, asking her to tutor me was partly an excuse to get close to her, but I really did need her help. I wanted to become someone better, so that when the day came my family went bankrupt and my mom got sick, I wouldn't be so helpless. With Willow and the retired teacher helping me, my grades started rising steadily. If I kept it up during the college entrance exam, I could definitely get into a top-tier university. Whichever school Willow picked, I'd pick one in the same city. Just when I thought everything was finally on track, disaster struck during the entrance exam. 15 minutes before the English test, Willow still hadn't shown up. I called her. Her degenerate gambling addict father answered. He chuckled. "You must be that rich kid my daughter mentioned. Some girl named Maria gave me $2,000 to make sure my kid didn't take the English exam, so I tricked her back home and locked her in. But hey, you pay me more and I'll let her go take the test." I gritted my teeth. "How much?" $5,000, he said. "You transfer it and I'll send her over. We live pretty close to the exam site. Should only take 15 minutes by taxi. But once the exam has been running for 15 minutes, no one's allowed in, which meant Willow couldn't take the test, all because of that damn 2,000 yuan. Chapter 5. My legs went weak, and I had to lean against the wall just to stay standing. After everything Willow had worked so hard for, was it all going to be destroyed by her deadbeat, gambling father? She'd already suffered so much. Why did life keep piling more on her? Just as I was drowning in frustration and grief, I got a text from Willow. It read, "This is a scheduled message. If I don't make it to the exam hall on time, don't worry. I've already been admitted to Capital University through recommendation. I just wanted to take the entrance